Close your eyes if that feels right for you. There'll be nothing to see for the first few minutes. I'll just talk you through it. And start to focus in on your breath. So before we do anything else, we're just going to focus on what our breath is doing right now. How are you breathing? Watch the breath. Close the mouth and inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Notice any areas of stickiness where the breath catches or halts. And now, as you're observing the breath, start to consciously extend the breath. Watching the nose enter through the nostrils, fill the mouth cavity. Watching the breath. Watching the chest rise, the rib cage expand. Soft in the throat, soft in the collarbones. Making sure the lower rib cage is also expanding. You may or may not be aware of your diaphragm dropping down as your rib cage expands. And as your diaphragm pushes down to make room for that air, your belly will dome. The belly draws back in as you exhale, and the air starts to come up and out. So watching the breath is a really good way of calming the mind. Gives our monkey mind something to focus on, something that's slow and rhythmic and constant. And if it isn't slow and rhythmic and constant when you get onto your mat, then you'd like it to be so by the time you leave your mat in half an hour's time. Lengthening the breath. Make sure that your exhalation is as long as your inhalation. Get rid of the sludge of toxic memory. So start to be aware of the musculature around the breathing. Start to be aware of your base, your root. Start to think about your sitting bones, pushing them gently down into the mat as you lift your spine away from them. And then I'll bring your attention to your pubic bone and your coccyx. And imagine these are four corners of your root. Your sitting bones, your pubic bone at the front, your coccyx at the back. And as you inhale and exhale, as the prana and apana balance each other out, as the spine moves, and you gently move between your pubic bone and your coccyx, stabilized by the seated bones, you form a secure base for everything else that we're going to do. And at the center of this base, your mula bandha, your root lock, draws up like a flame. Next time you exhale, drop the chin onto your chest. Inhale, draw one ear towards the same shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, ear to shoulder. We're just warming up the neck, the top of the spine, the base of the skull, rolling gently from side to side. You might hear funny, gritty, sandy noises as you move. Move with the breath. Move gently, move slowly. Exhaling, chin to chest. Inhaling, ear to shoulder. Finish drawing the chin to your chest. Exhale, inhale, lengthen the spine. Take your hands out in front, point your fingers away, turn the palms up to the ceiling. Bring your little fingers together and then take them away. Flip the palms over, palms face down, bring your thumbs together and take them away. Do that one more time. Palms to the ceiling, draw your little fingers together. Palms to the floor. Draw your thumbs together. Link the fingers, press the palms away quite strongly so you feel a stretch in the fingers and in the wrists. Inhale, take the arms up and overhead. Exhale, stretch out to one side, keeping your seated bones firmly on the mat. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale to the center and exhale. Press your fingertips into the mat. Draw your shoulder blades together at the back of the body. Lift the sternum slightly. Inhale, and as you exhale, come into a twist. Take the left hand across the body to the outside of the right knee. Bring your right fingertips behind. Lengthen the spine and look over the right shoulder. Parivrtta Sukhasana. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale to the center. Stretch your legs out in front. Active through the balls of the feet and then point the toes. Now relax the feet. Draw your right foot in. Place it towards your inner thigh about a fist width away and sit up as tall as you can. Exhale, twist towards your right leg. Take your right hand behind and draw that inner thigh towards your left hip. Lifting up. Maybe you can take your elbow across. Maybe you'd rather stay with the just a clasp here. But what you want to do is lengthen your spine. Now flex actively through your left foot and press both seated bones into the mat. Inhale, return to center. Open the right thigh and bring the sole of the foot to your left inner thigh. We're coming into Janu Shirsasana. We haven't done this for a few weeks. Lift here. Inhale, and as you exhale, draw your chest down towards your thigh, keeping the spine long if you can. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, press into the fingertips. Now turn your body, this is new, so that your chest is lining up with your folded leg. Inhale here for length. And as you exhale, come towards that folded leg. But what you want to do here is maintain this left seated bone, the contact with the mat. So you can't come very far here. Push down through your left hip at the same time as you lift your sternum, drawing the crown away from your tailbone. So it's an unusual move. You might feel it in places you didn't know you could have sensation, but that's what yoga is all about. Inhale, and then release, discovering new things about yourself. So from here, we're now going to turn towards the extended leg, twist around here, and then release your folded leg. Press it flat into the floor like we were a minute ago. Press both hands down into the mat. You might have to adjust to get them both on the mat here. And come onto the ball of your right foot, slightly bringing the weight into your hands and maybe lifting that left leg as you tip towards your hands. So how far you tip towards your hands depends a lot on your upper body strength and how you're feeling this morning. But you want to flex through that foot, that you're active in your core. And then we're going to come down, release the leg, shake off the wrists. Open, take your hands to your fingers with your wrist facing forward and give them a little bit of a stretch. Stretch one, because you can't really do them both at once. And then we'll do the other. I'm sure some of you are trying now. And then we'll release. So let's do that all on the other side. We start with Marichyasana 3. Bring your left foot in, about hip distance away from your right thigh. Engage, lengthen and lift before you twist to the left. Remember to breathe deeply. Remember to keep your seated bones nicely anchored into the mat. Active through this right foot. Inhale, release the twist. Release the foot down. We're coming into Janu Shirsasana. Engage your rib cage towards your middle toe. Draw your shoulder blades together. Length first, lift first, and then start to fold. So you're draping your rib cage over your thigh if you can. Trying to avoid rounding in the back if you can. Making sure you stay grounded in the right buttock. Inhaling, exhaling deeply. Nice wake up stretch for the body. Inhale, come up. Turn towards your folded knee now. Inhale for length and exhale to fold forward. And again, this right hip's going to want to pop up. So you're limited in how far you go by how you can press that right buttock into the mat. And that's really going to engage your core. And your core is what you need for arm balances, as well as strong wrists. There's a lot going on in the wrists, but it's not only. So now we're going around to the right side. Twist towards your right thigh. Press your hands into the mat. Think about, we talked about this on Tuesday when we did Bakasana. I did, hope you were listening. The joint, the ball, if you like, the mound of your first finger, your little finger, together with your thumb, forms your kind of triangle of strength, your power triangle here. So get those two triangles into the mat. Adjust your left foot, come onto the ball of your left foot, flex through the right leg, and start to bring your weight forward towards your hands. Try not to take it all into the right shoulder. Make sure it's evenly through your body, through your core, across your shoulders. And then we're coming back down again when you've had enough. Stay there a little bit longer if you want to. The choice is yours. We're coming into cat-cow. So if you're loving the balance and you're strong and you want to challenge yourself, you can. Otherwise, come with me. Cat-cow. Set up your box position. We've done this lots of times. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale to neutral. Shake out your right hand and then place it with the wrist forward. Shake out your left hand and place it with the wrist forward. If this is too strong for you, keep your fingertips facing the side of the mat. Otherwise, your fingertips face your knee. We inhale here and we slightly take the weight back. That's going to give you a stronger stretch in the wrist. Really important if you spend a lot of your time typing or on a keyboard of any description to release the wrists. So here we go. I'm going to sit back in child's pose and we're going to step it up a little bit. Inhale to your box position. Exhale, tuck the toes and start to lift your buttocks high to the ceiling. Press your left heel into the mat, draw your right knee in, and then change legs. So we're alternating heel to the floor. Do that a couple of times, then bend both knees, press the chest towards the thighs, lift the bottom high, and see if you can draw your heels down while keeping your chest firmly planted on your thighs. Maybe, maybe not. Inhale, bend both knees, walk the feet forward towards your hands. Exhale here. Inhale, drop the tailbone, lift the chest, take the arms out to the side, palms face up, they meet overhead, and then you exhale to your heart center. So stand at one end of your mat, have plenty of mat behind you. We're coming into eagle pose. I'm just going to come off my mat to show you. So you want to bend the knees, take your right leg over your left. Maybe that's you need to keep your toes on the floor, or you can take your right foot round to the back of your left calf and wind it all the way around. If you can, take your right arm underneath, your left arm underneath, left arm on top, eagle arms. Bring the backs of your hands together or possibly your palms. Inhale here and exhale. So now you need to concentrate. So if you're chattering away like I am, you're going to wobble. Draw your inner thighs together. Bring your eye gaze to a ekagra, a single point. And breathe. Hold it here. Inhale, unwrap and take yourself into warrior one. So you want to have your hips facing the short end of your mat, deep bend in the front leg, and now open those arms that were all wound up and come into warrior one. So from here, we're going to attempt to twist. It's Parivrtta Parsvakonasana. So it looks a bit like a revolved lunge, but we're trying to keep the back heel down. If that's not possible for you, then raise the back heel. Otherwise, you're going to twist towards the left, adjust the back foot as you need to, and come into a twist. So twisted lunge, your option is to float your right hand to the floor and lift your heel. If you struggle with twist or if you've got anything going on here, not liking it. Otherwise, if you're quite experienced and you want to challenge, you're going to try and keep that heel down and twist the torso, bring your palms to your chest and your right elbow to the outer left thigh. Or you can open your hands and bring your fingertips down. So that's what it looks like. Well, maybe everyone has their own version. So from here, you're going to bring the foot back in a little bit, still keeping the heel down, and we're coming into revolved triangle. We did this a couple of weeks ago. Here it's handy to have a block. If you can't get your hand to your left foot, then take it to the inside of your left foot rather than the outside. More advanced is to take your hand to the outside, with or without a block. But the important thing here, as ever, is to lengthen the spine. Couple more deep breaths here if you can. Release the hand, release the block, bring one hand either side of your front foot, draw the hands up to your hip, puff your chest out, draw your elbows back, straighten both legs. And from here, take your hands behind into reverse prayer, or you hold onto your elbows. Draw the fingertips up towards the nape of your neck if you're doing reverse prayer. Open your chest, and as you exhale, you're going to bend your front knee, transfer your weight, and float your back leg up. Ekapada Hamsa Parsvakonasana. We did this a couple of weeks ago. Bending that knee, straightening that leg, lifting the chest. Hold it here if you can. And when you've had enough, float that back leg in. Stay there a bit longer if you want to. Release the hands when you're ready, shake out the wrists. So we're going to do that on the other side. I'm going to change ends because it's easier, I think, for you to see me. So what do we start with? Eagle. So bring your weight into your right leg, Garudasana. Take the left leg around, same thing. Draw your inner thighs together, tuck your tailbone under, bind that leg if you can. Left arm under, right arm on top. So you cross your hands at the elbow, backs of the hands together, palms together, hands up, and you sink. So come into that posture. I'll show you from the side. And hold. Find your point of focus and breathe deeply. Then unfold everything, stretch that left leg behind, and we're coming into warrior one. So your hips are facing the short end of your mat. Adjust your back foot as necessary to get those hips level, and then float your arms up. Maybe you can take a teeny tiny bit of a back bend if you're feeling nice and warm and flexible. From here, we come into that twist. Bring your hands to your heart center, twist to your right this time. You may find you have to lift your left heel. Just see what you can do. Or you can bring your left hand to the outside of your right foot and stretch. Now here the hips will want to kink out, so you want to draw your right hip back and your left hip forward, maintaining a bend in that front leg. This is then translated into twisted triangle just by straightening the front leg, but you may have to adjust the back foot. One more breath here. Release the arms. We're preparing for our single-legged swan. So come up into your Parsvakonasana. Open your arms, Fold them behind. Bring your fingertips together in reverse prayer if that's available to you. Open the chest. Stabilize the hips here. Get them level. Front hip draws back, back hip draws forward. Now bend the knee and come into that single-legged swan if you can. So you can keep the toes on the mat if your balance isn't with you today, or if you're coming into the full pose, foot up, chest up. If you've got a wall to lean on, then use it. If I could reach the door, I could use that. And when you've had enough of that, slide the foot in, come to standing at the front of your mat. Take a couple of moments here for the breath to settle. Plant down evenly through both heels. So just adjust the hip girdle, tiny movements, or just be aware of your hip girdle, aware if one hip feels different to the other. Bring your feet together, press your big toes together. Inhale, take your arms up and overhead. Press your palms together, cross your right thumb on top of the other, and press your fingertips up towards the sky. Tuck your tailbone under. Press all four corners of your feet into the mat. Inhale here, and as you exhale, you're going to take your fingertips over to the right, and your hips swing gently towards the left. Indujalasana, standing crescent. Make sure that your hand's not fallen forward. You want to open the chest, and to make it more intense, you can look up towards your left inner elbow, drawing down with the left hip, spinning up with the right ribs, making sure your weight is even between your feet. Hold it here. Inhale to center. Exhale, draw the hands down. Put your left thumb on top now. We're going on the other side. Take a break here if you want to. Inhale up and over. Exhale. So eye gaze down if you're not liking this in your neck at all. If you want to look up, then engage your neck muscles. Don't let your head flop. Look up with intention. Breathe deeply. Inhale to center, exhale to center. So Tuesday, we did Bakasana, crane. Today we're going to have a go at side crane. It's only an option. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. If you don't like arm balances, then leave it out. Standing, I'll show you from the side. No, I'll show you straight on, I think. It doesn't matter where you stand. We're coming into Utkatasana with the hands at your heart center. Have your feet hip distance apart. Inhaling and exhaling as you deepen the pose. From here, we're going to twist to the left. Keep tucking your tailbone under. And then you can stay here, or you can draw down, 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 down. Bring your hands down towards the mat. Lift your heels. Make a shelf out of your triceps and see if that thigh will rest on that shelf. So here's where a cushion underneath your head might be nice. Keep your eye gaze up. Don't allow your head to dip. And maybe, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Your toes come up. Have a go at that. If you don't like it, stay in your twist, or you can come down here and just sit up on your heels. Another option, so those of you who are doing side crane, come back into your Utkatasana and go on the other side. Another option, if you don't like this, is from here to do some twists. Still quite taxing, so I'm going to twist here. I'm going to come to center, and I'm going to twist here. You can try side crane on this side, press the hands into the mat, make a shelf, draw your thigh bone onto that shelf, and maybe you'll have more luck with one side than the other. And when you've had enough of that, I think we can come down to the floor. So just ease yourself down to the floor. What else did we have? Oh, yes, Bakasana. Draw yourself down onto your belly. If you've started to have enough now, take it into a rest. We've got some options here. Stretching your left hand out, lifting your right leg, keeping your right hip anchored into the mat. Press into that forearm and lift a little. Do the same on the other side. Lifting and stretching. So if that's okay for you, if you've got no issues with your lower back, if your knees are fine, have a go at Ardha Bakasana. Stretch your right hand round to right foot and draw your right foot in towards your buttock. So it looks a bit like half bow, but in half bow, we'd be pressing the foot away. This time we're drawing the foot in towards the buttock. If you're very flexible, you can press into the top of your foot and start to bring your foot to the outside of your hip. In the full pose, the foot comes down to the floor. Don't ask me to show you that one, but maybe I'll get there one day. Maybe not. That's not the point. If you feel it in the knee at all, come out of it. Should feel it as a strong stretch in the thigh. Lifting the upper body if you want more. Release that foot. Your option is to just keep going with these opposite leg lifts. Otherwise, you're bringing your left hand to your left foot. Press the hand into the top of the foot. Press the heel towards the buttock. No issues at all in the knee. Then you can start to bring that foot to the outside. Press it towards the mat. So this is frog pose. Inhale, release. Take a break here, take a rest. If you want to try it, the full pose, bring both feet together, press both heels into buttocks, lift a little here, lift your chest and see about bringing your feet down towards the mat. And then when you've had enough of that, release, head down. Take a couple of deep breaths here and then press your hands under your shoulders, push up, come up into all fours and sit back in child's pose. And now we really are going to take a rest. So coming forward, coming down, rolling over, find your Shavasana. Draw your knees into your chest, give them a little hug to release out your lower back, and then draw them away and let them release. Release your breath, release your feet, release your knees, your thighs, your hips, your chest. Open your arms, release the backs of your hands, your forearms, your shoulders. Release the neck, release the throat. Release the jaw, release the eye gaze. Close your eyes, soften your brow. Let go. Let go of it all. Just rinse out the last 30 minutes. So if you tried a few poses that were new, let go of any frustration. If you are fabulous, let go of that too. Both your achievement and your frustration only exist in your ego. And underneath that ego, through and through, your real self is quite unaffected. Whether you can or can't, doesn't matter. Your real self, the non-doer, just observes. Observe your breath. So you know how to come out of this now when you're ready. But there's no rush. If you're able to stay here, if you can give yourself the gift of a few more minutes in Shavasana, deep rest, please do so. I thank you for joining me this morning, and I hope you'll join again next week. Namaste.